What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. The finale is here. Out of the 3 Triple Crown races that we've had in MX bikes, we started off at Riverglade MX in New Brunswick. We then made our way over to Motocross de Chambeau in Quebec, and now we are going to be riding a little bit of Walton Raceway over in Ontario. So already flying around here, look at some of these corners, the roughness that we've got either going into or coming out of. Going into, having a look at that jump over there. I love this kind of stuff. You guys already know it. I think that the whole team behind this Triple Crown series have done a phenomenal job on these tracks so far and has brought a little bit of life back to the racing scene. And it looks like everybody's been enjoying the races that have been hosted on this as well. And as always, this week's track preview is brought to you by the MX Bike Shop. Ride the officially licensed replicas created by KTW Studios and BC Creative, and even compete in the virtual Triple Crown Championship by logging on to mxbikes-shop.com. We are going to be using today a bike that doesn't really get much love in the 450 class anymore, especially on the outdoor side of things. You see people dabbling on it occasionally in indoors, and especially last year in the DDC season, this bike saw a lot of love, and we're rocking the Husky 450. You might be like, Linda, why are you riding the Husky 450? And the sole reason is I was streaming the NSP race series, commentating on it on Sunday, and somebody just asked the very innocent question of how much for you to ride the Honda 450 next round of aerial, which is in 2 weeks' time. And I literally replied, you know what, slide a cheeky 50 my way and I'm all for it, because I'm doing anything at this point to try and make the aerial outdoor series more entertaining for myself. And before anybody else had a chance to do anything, Mr. Austin Barnes slid a cheeky bit in my back pocket and said, you know what, no, Husqvarna instead. So I need to try and get used to this thing to hopefully get it around Ironman in a fast enough time to firstly be able to qualify me in, then hoping for like more top 10 stuff as well. The Suzuki from the last round that I'd done wasn't terrible. I did qualify better on it than I did the previous week on a Yamaha, which was quite interesting. Then Moto 1 it was okay, Moto 2 it kind of all fell apart. It wasn't great in the road. So we'll see how, oh my goodness, we're alive, it's fine. We'll see how the Husky does in the road. I have a feeling the front end might be a little bit of an issue because it's very, very light. Now, right now, I've done half a lap, I reckon, and already some of the roughness around this track is making me a little bit on the happy side. I love tracks that make me take your time a little bit. You guys are already thinking what I'm thinking. Come on, let's turn around, let's give it a go. Let's see if we can jump all the way over or if there's any invisible barriers to stop us. So, what's the best bet? Do you reckon? I think riding this right here that I'm sat in around the outside. So you'd want to go inside here, inside there, and then come out to the outside. Try and stay low. But they have put some bumps there. I think those bumps have been very strategically placed on the exit of that to make sure you can't get all the way up and over that step. Otherwise, I don't think there'd be much in the way of stopping you. So, heads up track building. I respect it. Big W there from stopping you doing any stupid, unrealistic lines. Let me try and take my time just a little bit more as we go around here. That's got a nice little lift to it as well. I wonder it... I'm liking the experimenting that I'm having to do here. Hang on, let's try... If I go all the way out to the outside, is there much to bank off of? There is a little bit to bank off of here. And then you could scrub down the hill. Yah, yeet. Go on. Go on. Oh, no, they've put barriers there. God damn you. Damn you, BK Kells in question. BK? Got Burger King on my brain. Bradley Clay. Kells in question. Oh, that would have been a big old send, but I understand the reasoning for it as well. You're always torn in two minds when it comes to sections like that, because whilst it would be incredibly fun, since we are in a video game after all to do, they are also hosting race series on this. And imagine you having to send that each lap to have a chance of being competitive. It would just be a little bit silly. So I don't mind their decision making there in making that not a viable or doable line at all. And it looks like this track so far, having obviously never seen anything to do with this track in real life before, I'm sure some of you Ontario residents might have had the luxury of riding this track yourself. These jumps feel very peaky. Feels like they send you quite high. So quite easy to overjump them in game at least. I have no idea if that's a true representation of IRL. But one thing that I have noticed is over the last 2 weeks of us covering these tracks, there's been people in the comments of both the videos that we've done so far, of people from either New Brunswick, and it's a track that they've ridden before, people from Quebec that have managed to ride the motocross DeChambeau track as well. And I even got a bit of information and the backstory of that double at DeChambeau that we call the Jimmy Dakotas double now, because he done it on the 125s. People saying like who the first person was to do it and so on and so forth. And it's just really, really cool. And I love finding out that sort of information. So if there's any nice, interesting tales from old Walton here, please do let me know. And again, if this is a track that you have ridden yourself in person, how did the track crew do in replicating your track, essentially? I know anytime I try and ride a track in game that I've ridden myself IRL, it's always nice comparing one-to-one to see what it's like. If we take Hawkston Park, for example, it's a track that I played in-game prior to riding it in real life. But it was crazy how, when I rode it myself IRL, it felt like I already knew the track because I'd already spun a lot of tracks on it virtually. So, I mean, I guess in a weird way, this game can be used as some sort of a training tool, even if it's not the most accurate of simulators in the world. You can get an idea of track layouts and such before you've even been to them. I'm going to call this out a little bit early. I think this track, as it is playing right now for me, my bad, I think this would be an incredible 125 track in game. Don't know why, I'm just getting that feeling. So you got all the right rough and ruts in the right places in the corners, and then the jumps aren't so ridiculously big that you can only get over them on a 450. I think trying to rag a 125 around a track like this would actually be very, very satisfying. And it's not like you can just go absolutely pinned everywhere. You've got these choppy braking bumps on the inside slowing you down a little bit. It's just enough, and I do like the roughness that they've gone for on this. It might even be a little bit rougher going into some of these corners than the GP tracks were of this year, which I find quite interesting. And I'd love a little bit of feedback on that, and I'm sure the track crew would also like feedback on it in case they do this next year, for example. What are your thoughts on this kind of roughness? Do you think it's too much? Do you think the ruts are too deep? Do you think it's the perfect amount to slow you down? Right now, I'm kind of vibing with it. I don't know if it's just because the suspension that I'm rocking right now is working quite well, but the bumps that go into the corners look brutal, but as I'm going over them, they also then feel pretty predictable as well. So it's not like I'm just a passenger and holding on for dear life. There is a level of replication to them that I'm liking. I think that's always a hard balance for track creators to find in this game in particular. There's always a limit to what the bikes and the game can handle specifically. Because I know, if we compare it to this aerial outdoor season that we've been doing on the AMA tracks, myself included, want harder and rougher tracks to race on. But then also, because of how fast we can go at the moment with the OEM bikes combined with the game, it's probably quite hard to find that nice middle ground of being rough enough to slow people down, but without making their bike just suddenly explode. So again, to BK in particular, in this example, as he's the one that done the terrain on these tracks, I do like the roughness. I think it's a very, very good amount. Try and do a quick little third-person lap for you as well. I know some of you people do appreciate the third-person camera, and then some of you absolutely hate it, and I do apologise if you're one of the latter that aren't a bigger fan of it, but I would like to try and accommodate everybody that might buy and play these tracks themselves, or who are even competing in them themselves. I should probably go and have a look. I haven't had the chance to watch any of the races in game yet, so if you were taking part in them, how's your experience been so far? Have you been enjoying the races on them? How do the tracks kind of form over the course of two motos? As having pre-built rough is one thing, but then also how the tracks like degrade over the course of a race with the erode is also another ball game entirely that track creators have to try and get right, with the right types of soil and the hosts setting the right erode values, and there's a whole bunch of different values at play that you have to get absolutely spot on. From a environmental perspective, I think all these tracks have been pretty damn good so far. I'd say the first round was, I think, slightly on the plain side, but I think that's just how the track is in person. It's a very flat track in general, not much in the way of elevation changes. There's only so much that you can do with it. At DeChambeau, I think, was just amazing. I love the elevation changes at DeChambeau. I also like the slightly sandy nature of it, like loamy nature in some places also. And the amount of roughness they had made it very challenging, especially for me trying to get a cheeky little hot lap for the Instagram, which you should follow. I'm trying to post a lot more on Instagram and TikTok these days, so give me a follow on both of those, at LinzMX. And I'm probably going to try and hot lap this track a little bit when this recording's all said and done and get that uploaded as well, because I do need a little bit of real content for tomorrow as well. I mean, right now, the Husky's actually feeling pretty damn good, I'll be honest with you. Like, it feels like it's soaking up these bumps pretty nicely. It tracks around the corners well. The crashes that I'm having so far, a lot of it is me either looping out from not paying attention properly, or my front end tucking because I'm steering down in the corner too much and hitting the rut on the inside of me. So that is all 100% skill issue. But to be honest, I don't think that's the bike's fault whatsoever, and especially with me playing in third person. You know, not the best third-person player in the world, so I do apologise if I'm not doing it too much justice. But the track crew themselves didn't want me to say this until the last round, because, you know, it kind of defeats the point of having the other 2 rounds in the first place. But obviously they worked on all these height maps, you know, over multiple weeks, maybe even months. But they was all in agreement that round 3 was their favourite, and so far it does seem to have a really, really nice flow to it. I would say it's a very close battle between DeChambeau and Walton. I'll be honest, I'm not sure which one I can pick. So again, if you've had the luxury of playing both of these, then let me know what your thoughts on that are. Which one are your favourite? The faces of these jumps are really nice for chucking it sideways. It almost makes me wish that the tracks weren't such perfect replicas, so then you could hit some absolutely crazy lines, like stuff like this. I wish that was just a little bit bigger, but then I know in real life that it's probably quite a big jump. Not many of us can go as fast in real life as we go in MX bikes in particular. There's a few rare specimens of individuals that are faster in real life than they are in the video game, but it's very, very few and far between. Let's try and lock in and hit a semi-decent laps. I need to check up here. There we go. I remembered this time. Slot down to the inside. Gentle on the power. This is just a little step up, and then we go into our left-hander after this. Trying to memorise all this on the fly. The good thing about having this many ruts and this many viable ruts as well, all of similar speed, is if you don't get your turning in point 100% perfect, or maybe you leave the brakes off a little bit too late and you overshoot your rut that you want to go for, you've always got another one to fall into after that, which is quite nice. It does feel like it might be a little bit on the inside dominant side, but again, if you do miss that, or maybe as the track goes away in a second moto, for example, and the inside rut gets a bit too deep or a bit treacherous, you do have those second, third, fourth, sometimes fifth ruts to fall into as a backup plan. Go third rut here. I'm finding the most success by staying up on the pegs, which is just a generic tip if anyone needs help in rutted conditions on this game. And the more you can stand up and lean forwards in the corners, the better. I seem to find it easier to not catch my pegs or handlebars or anything on the rut to the inside of me when I do that. Whereas I sit down, it feels a lot more likely that that's going to happen. Currently 2 seconds up on my time, which I didn't expect. I'm going to scrub these 2 quite hard. I need to remember after the next right-hander that I take, I need to send that jump a bit, because I think every lap so far I've cased it. So it's as we come right out of this bit. So I'm going to check up here. I'm even going to try taking the outside a little bit more. Oh, no, I'm not. I did not line that up well whatsoever. We'll go third rut, and then I need to send this a bit more. Have that brake, downside that was much nicer. And I'm going to check up, jump over some of these ruts, try and channel our inner Jetson, and then down to the finish line, try and get a bit steezy for the imaginary fans. And we went 3 seconds quicker. That was a 1:55.34, and I did pause here for a second to change my camera angle. So you can see I'm already almost a second up on my time again anyway. So a very nice track, a very flowy track, and I can kind of see where the track creators are coming from. That the third one is their favourite out of the whole Triple Crown series. So I just wanted to say one final thank you to all of the people involved in making this happen. Thank you for giving me the YouTuber privilege of getting these tracks a bit early and being the one to be able to show you some proper in-depth track walks on it as well. I hope some of you competing in this series have found it helpful as the last few races have happened. And let me know which one of the 3 tracks has been your favourite over this season, and hopefully we can get some real-life competitions or real-life brands involved in some of this stuff more often as well, because I love it. It does nothing but build the game, and not just this game in particular, but the gaming world, the whole motocross gaming sphere. So I imagine if things like this go well on MX bikes, then I can only imagine how MTG will go with some of the connections they've already got going on there. So thank you again, everyone involved. Thank you, most importantly, for watching. I very much do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like. Helps me out in the algorithm and getting the video out to more and more people. And subscribe to the channel if you're new to help the channel grow also. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to. I will see you all in the next video, which I believe is going to be a little bit more cranked gameplay for any of you mountain bike fans. So see you in the next one.